Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday! Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with Hank Gruber. My name is Vinnie, Parise, and I am here with a returned to North America version of Short Sky, and we are happy to get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Ottawa Senators. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. The New Jersey Devils are in the nation's capital, not our nation's capital, their nation's capital, to take on that Ottawa Senators team that's given the New Jersey Devils fits this season. Short Sky, how we doing?
Doing good. A little jet lag, but otherwise happy to be home. It was a fun, quick trip to England, but, here we are back to regular life. And, our Devils are still somehow giving us hope, and I just don't understand how or why, but I'll take it.
I describe the Devils like this. There are people out there who, if they're watching, this is going to be the third time they've heard me describe it like this.
All right.
The Devils are like a puppy that got hit by a car on the side of the road.
Oh.
And they're on the side of the road, alive, miserable, bleeding out. And everybody refuses to put them out of their misery. The cars are just driving by. Animal control watches and waves from the window. And nobody puts this poor puppy out of its misery. The Eastern Conference teams the Flyers, Capitals, and Red Wings all need to lose. And if the Devils win, they'll be 4 points out.
I know.
I'm watching the games on Friday. Guess what happens? The Flyers, Red Wings, and Capitals all lose under, while the Devils are idle. There's a big earthquake in the state of New Jersey, the largest recorded earthquake in the history. Oh my God, we're getting all the sensitive topics here.
We are.
The Devils, they're coming off this earthquake. Is this what kind of shakes up the season?
Whew. Man, that would be great. I would love that just to get something. I mean, just watching the end of that Pittsburgh Penguins game that was on just now against Tampa Bay, that's a team that's fighting to make the playoffs. And, that's really what we want to see the Devils do. It's just a matter of will they or can they do it? I mean, Pittsburgh is, they're now, let's see if I can do quick math.
They're in a playoff spot.
Yes, but it's 7 points ahead of us. It's like, I don't know. It's possible. I mean, hope is dwindling, but it's possible. I still have a feeling it's going to come down to that last day. But yeah, I mean, you watch what Pittsburgh's doing. They're doing what the Devils, what I wish the Devils were doing. Although little Steve will say, they won despite their best efforts to lose today. That being the Penguins. I'd still love to see just a little bit more fight out of this Devils team.
Did he give you an explanation on that? Because I watched the game. I'm like, yeah, maybe Tampa kind of took over once the score was bad. That does kind of happen. You get out to a big lead, you slow down a little bit. But Gino had 2, Sid had 1, Letang had 1. It just seemed like all the boys were going.
Yeah, I think that's just the way that that Steven looks at his team. That the fact that they tried their best to give that game away, even though they had that massive lead. They still let it slip away. But, I mean, it was a good game to catch on TV as I was getting ready for some stuff this afternoon. So, and now we got ours coming up tonight.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully they are able to shake things up and have one final push before the end of the season. When you go up against a team like the Ottawa Senators and you're playing in Canada's capital, not very kind to the Devils this season, a team that most would agree the Devils should have been able to beat this season. But I have noticed every single time the Devils are playing Ottawa, they're in the middle of a little hot run. They go on to beat other good teams. Ottawa rolled through New York last week and really shook up that scene. They beat the Islanders and Rangers, if I remember correctly, and also beating the Devils. And then they went back home and got killed by the Blackhawks. Or I can't remember if that were in Chicago. That wasn't a good look. Maybe the Blackhawks won. Either way, it was a hot streak for Ottawa, and the Devils were just a part of it. I don't know if that's what the issue is or what's going on, but they need to win today.
Yeah, I mean, the Devils need to win all of, and it's going to be a near impossibility the way this team plays. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. They need to win all 6 of their last remaining games, and then the cards will fall as they may. But with them being 9 points out, No, 7 points out, excuse me, and 12 points left on the board. We'll see. It's the Devils just have to win today. Just go into Ottawa and win. I will take any win, no matter how ugly, no matter what. I'll take any win today.
Absolutely. When you see teams like Pittsburgh go on this
Mhm.
run that might help them get into the postseason, I mentioned it. You got the stars going. Sidney
Yep.
Crosby and Evgeny Malkin are both in their late 30s. Christopher Letang, same thing. They're still out there producing, though. They are the guys the Penguins look to when it gets hard. And so when I think of the New Jersey Devils doing the same thing, I think of Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meyer. Those guys have been playing well lately, but it
Mm-hmm.
just seems like they need to get to another level, just a tick more. And then the
Yeah.
depth on this team is what it is this season. That's something that needs to be addressed during the offseason. But down the stretch here, it'd be nice to see the core guys really go on and play well.
It would be for them to go on and play well, for us to play good, solid defensive hockey. Just to see us show like we're trying, because there are some games where you kind of question that, but just to show something, and if we can get the big guys to get going, the leaders on this team to start scoring and at least making a push at the end. Uh, if we make a push at the end and just don't make it, well, that's no big deal. But if we roll over and die, that's gonna be totally different. But yeah, seeing Jack and Jesper and Nico, Timo really pour it on towards the end would be really nice.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what it's going to be like for this team going forward, right? Like if they're going to win Stanley Cups or make deep playoff runs, whatever the case
Mhm.
may be, you need those guys. That's all the chips are pushed in on those guys. You had a couple number one overall picks. You got Luke Hughes fourth overall, Nemitz second overall. These are the guys. And we'll see how they play today against Ottawa. I would love nothing more than to see this team just show up to Canada and absolutely dominate these guys, unlike how they have most of this season against the lesser teams in the league.
Yeah, that'll be, man, that would be very welcome. Because we can and should beat this team, but we just haven't been able to do it all season. For some whatever reason, and like you just finished up with, a lot of the lesser teams that we should be beating, we're struggling. I don't know what that is. You know, that's been the frustrating part of this season is the losses that we just can't explain.
When you look back on this season, I think some of the things that a lot of people will remember if they do end up missing, in all likelihood, they're going to miss the playoffs. But if in the event that happens and people are like, okay, what happened? People are going to remember the goaltending situation. People
Mm-hmm.
are going to remember Lindy Ruff getting fired.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are two things, though, that people need to also remember. For some reason, they couldn't get it together against these lesser teams. That's one of my points. And we
Yeah.
just touched on that. Ottawa's one of them. They lost to Anaheim twice, San Jose once, Ottawa twice, I think. They lost to Columbus one of the times. They beat them a couple other times. Columbus is a little bit different. People get mad at the one loss to Columbus. I'm like, but if you beat them the other three times, I mean, you're going to lose to a division. It's very hard to sweep a division rival, even if they are as bad as the Blue Jackets are. That loss to me doesn't sting quite as bad. You're going to lose to a Metro team here and there, no matter who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some of these other teams at the bottom of the standings that the Devils really should have taken care of their business against, it is an issue. And then also, I look at the standings, and the Devils aren't far off a lot of teams in the wins department. They haven't gotten many loser points. Almost all of their losses, except for 4, have been in regulation. They haven't been able to get
Yeah.
that game tying goal to force overtime or be in the game long enough to force overtime. And even if you lose, you get the loser point. That very
Mm-hmm.
well could be the difference in missing the playoffs, too. I'm not saying play for overtime, right? That's not what I'm getting at. But I mean,
But if you need a
that to
point,
me,
if you need a point,
yes.
you know,
That
and
could go back to goaltending, too, by the way.
it can, and I think one of the other things that people are going to look at when they the post mortem on the season is, what if Jake Allen would have been brought in sooner? And I know
Yep.
that's a lot of people bring that up, like what if Jake Allen had been brought in sooner? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. You don't really know because we never upgraded our defense, so you really don't know that with Jake Allen in net. He would have made a difference. Would have been that much of a difference because the defense was still the same? It's tough to say. It's really tough to say.
It is really tough to say. But I do like, and there's some fans, right, that are just like, team's done. Like, what's even the
Hmm.
point of watching the rest of the season? There are always going to be people like that. That's fine. But I do think inside that locker room, from what I've heard and what I've been told, they have not given up. They believe in themselves and they've seen that they can put the puck in the net. And if they get good goaltending, like, it might be too little too late that they feel
Hmm.
this way about themselves, but they probably should have beat the Rangers. Right? That Penguins game was a disaster in the third period, but you probably should have
Hmm.
won that game too. There's a lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda with this team. And I do think a couple tweaks here and there, you can at least have a strong finish in these final 6 games. So there's 6 games left. That means there's 12 points. Let's say they won them all. They would have, is that 88 points? I mean,
That would be 8 points. Yeah.
it's possible. It's just you would be banking on Pittsburgh,
Yeah. You're
Philly,
banking on
and
losses.
Detroit. Yeah, that means those teams can't get more than 5 more points.
Yeah, which is
So,
going to be
I
tough.
mean,
Yeah.
that's
So
tough.
as soon as one of those teams reaches 88 points, where that's 5 points away. So as soon as one of those teams gets 5 more points, we're cooked. But weird things happen. I do know this. I am 0-2 when I go to bed at whatever late, however late it is in England, when the Devils are either tied or winning. So I'm 0-2 in that case because I woke up
You went
both
to bed
mornings.
winning against the Rangers?
Yeah, because they were winning going into the third, correct?
Yep.
Yep, and then they were either winning or tied against the Penguins going into the third.
They were
And
tied, yeah.
yeah, I went to bed both those nights going into the third, and both those next mornings, Devils lost.
I'd like you to
Not
take
good.
that not good enough sign and
Yeah.
put it on the short sky jersey because this is now your fault.
It's not my
I'm
fault.
only
I will
kidding.
not.
I'm only
I will
kidding. It
not
is
take
not your
blame.
fault. You do not deserve the blame. You were not in net for those games, even though you probably would have liked to be, right?
I would have loved it.
Yeah, I mean, short sky. One day, I'm gonna find a way to get some hockey equipment out there for myself, and we're gonna hit a rink, and I'm gonna shoot on you a little bit.
Oh,
And you
absolutely.
could save every puck
Absolutely.
because I stink. I stink, and you're probably pretty good. So it'll be fun, though. I think that'd be good. We could bring Sam. We could bring a camera. We could get some C word out of it. Not any bad C words. The C word Sam doesn't like that we're not allowed to say on
Uh-huh.
this show. That it would. It's not a C word that you canceled though by any means.
No.
Maybe on the Let's Go Devils podcast network though. Okay, so Shorts Guy, I want people right now to start getting their predictions into the chat. We're doing the show a little early today. It's Saturday. People got things to see.
Why do you have
Sam
to
Woo's
mention
chiming
this?
in.
Why do you have to mention the C word when you can say Sam Woo could just get some video?
Because what are you going to turn? What are you going to turn that video into?
I'm going to turn that into a social media. I'll put it up on social media. That's all.
A
A
highlight
social
package.
media excursion.
It'll be a highlight package.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see,
Okay.
do you get you get my drift? Why I hate the C word?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because
I mean, every time
it's
you
such a
explain it to me, it
lazy
makes
word,
sense.
and then you get all these wannabe podcasters and wannabe, people that are trying to do, it's kind of like fake viral videos. It's like, no, it's just come natural. Like I wish I had my phone out when the earthquake happened.
That would have
You
been
know?
great. I actually, I checked all the cameras in my house, see if any of the outdoor cameras were triggered by the shaking of the earth, but none of them were, unfortunately. I guess I live on too many rocks up here.
Too many rocks. I get it, and like you said, it almost blurred it out of my mouth lazily, the C word. So like what you said is 100%. It was just me being lazy, not thinking of a better word to describe video of me shooting on short sky at a rink.
Well, I mean, have you ever talked to people? They say, "Oh, you have a podcast." Oh, I'm a fellow content creator myself. It's like, no, you're not. Stop it. Stop it. You just have a phone and you try to act like an idiot and then you upload it on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So that's
fair.
why I hate that word. A lot of let's just say Gen Zers and elder millennials, they like to use that word just to make themselves feel like they're important, but they're really not. That's all.
Gotta feel smart. Just like people
Yep.
putting their predictions in the chat right now. I need you to go in the YouTube chat
Do it
right
it.
now and put your predictions. I will read most of them aloud. And by most of them, I mean the ones that I get to in time. But Shorts Guy, before we get going with our predictions,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little thirsty.
Are you now? Well, I think you should have a beverage, which I have not had a beverage since I've been home.
Like any type of beverage or like an
No,
adult beverage?
I haven't had an adult beverage since I've been home. Let's put it that way.
Okay,
I had
okay.
quite a few across the pond. But let's see. You should probably have an adult
As you should.
beverage. Oh, yeah. You should probably have an adult beverage. Nice tall can. It's green. Kind of looks like
St. Patrick's
that
Day's
can
over.
in the. I know St. Patrick's Day is over. If I can speak, that would be great.
Why would I want green beer?
No, not green beer. How about a red beer out of a green can?
I am Italian.
You are Italian. That is correct. What? Maybe one that looks like that beer that's in the lower corner there by you.
Oh, that one?
That one, yeah,
The one on the screen.
yeah.
That looks pretty
Looks like a
nice.
good beer.
Is that a QR code on it?
It looks like there's a QR code around there. Yeah,
QR take you to joinourcrew.com?
it might. It might
You should
very well,
try
but
it.
you should do that anyway.
If you get yourself a can of Van Crew Brew, do
Let me
it.
try it. I've got
If
one
you
right here. Let's try.
go on the screen, I said the name already. I kind of ruined the bit. Van Crew Brew, shaking up like the earthquake. Make sure you don't shake your cans of Van Crew Brew. I hope no Van Crew Brew lives were lost during the earthquake. I hope none fell off any shelves. Obviously, the safety of our fellow man is of most importance.
Paramount.
I'm very
Always
sensitive
paramount.
to that, and I hope everybody got through the earthquake safe and sound. But we're gonna crack jokes about Crew Brew, of course, all day, all night. Join our crew today and drink Crew Brew, where we make winning memories together, one crew at a time. And Crew Brew, I love Crew Brew. Like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks till I get my Crew Brew that you gave me, driven back to Illinois for me to have one live on air with y'all.
I can't wait. I got to make sure I get another one to have it live on air when you have yours. So we'll make it
Very
work.
good.
We'll make
Very,
it work.
very good. Shorts Guy, what do you think is going to happen in today's game between the Newark
Man.
Devils of Jersey and the Senators Hockey Club of Ottawa?
Let's see. I think the Devils do have a chance to win, and I think they need to win, especially with Pittsburgh winning against Tampa, although I was hoping that Pittsburgh would lose to Tampa. But we have to win what we have in front of us. I'm going to say the Devils win. I'm going to go close one tonight, 3-2.
3-2 between the Devils and the Senators. They're not flowing in the chat like they normally are. I know it's an afternoon game. It's a little bit different of a demographic than a weeknight at 5 o'clock when everybody's tuned in. Before I get to my prediction and reading some of them in the chat, I'll let people go in the chat. If you have time, still stick in your predictions and we'll get them in. Andy says, guys, I think K-Mac got the better of Rempe. What do y'all think? Well, Andy, I think I tweeted that the Devils won all 5 fights. That was to trigger Rangers fans. The Devils didn't actually win all 5 fights. In fact, Keandre Miller mopped the floor with John Marino. That's probably the most lopsided fight of the 5.
I
but
disagree.
I do think
I disagree completely. And the reason why I say that, did you watch the entire fight? Because there were other angles of that fight that I watched that goes completely whatever against everyone was saying.
Well, the winner of the fight, I think by the end of it, when Keandre Miller literally had John Marino on the floor begging for mercy.
No,
I mean,
but he
hit him with the chirp too. That was kind of sad.
Marino slipped. It's not like
yes.
When Miller slipped earlier in the fight, the fighting etiquette was in play, and Marino didn't hit his man when he was down. Versus Miller actually did. So I do not think Miller won the fight. I think it was a draw.
Okay. Very fair. Fair fight analysis from Sam Wu. As far as the McDermott-Rempe fight, the main event, even though the referees are so stupid, they give Lazar and I forget which Ranger the pass and the other 4 guys get booted from the game, you know what the main event fight. I don't care whose gloves were off. You know what fight was the point of it all. And so I was stunned that the rest of the guys, that Rempe and McDermott were the ones thrown out. I'm not mad about it because the Devils got to keep Lazar in favor of McDermott, but which is obviously a win for them. But I think K-Mac did get the better of Rempe. I think that was one of the fights that the Devils almost like won handedly. What do you think?
I like that fight. I was very happy to be able to watch the opening of that game because I knew exactly what it was going to be. But yeah, I thought all the fights were really good. But you could definitely tell that the main event was the McDermott Rempe fight because despite the fact that there was a whole line brawl, the camera was trained on those two for a long time, for a very long time. And I think that K-Mac got quite a bit of good jabs at Rempe, and Rempe's face looked a little bit roughed up, which Justin from England had sent me that picture, and I know he posted it too on Facebook. But we were talking about it. He put a hurting on him, which is good, and I'm glad. And I'm glad we got it out of the way. If there was one more game, I got to imagine there would be at least one more fight. But yeah, I'd say he got the he got his numbers. Especially Rempe was a little bit taller than McDermott, so good for him. I like the guy. I really kind of hope he sticks around next year.
Absolutely. If Rempe didn't have a reach advantage, he'd lose almost all his fights. I really don't think he's that good of a fighter, but that's just my opinion. Joseph says 5-3 Devils. Select a Boy says 4-3 Devils. Michael Rossi, I mean, what are you picking that team for him, dude? He says 3-2 them. No, hopefully not. Watch him be spot on. Morgan says 5-2 Devils. And the great Sam Wood, John Marino defender, says that the Devils are going to win this game by a score of 9-2. It is a great Sam Wood prediction. It's what we hope for. I believe the Devils are going to win this game 5-3. And Shorts Guy, I can't thank everybody enough in the chat for watching today's game. Make sure when the show is over, you go watch the game at 6 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern. And you tune into Devils After Dark when it's over. The rest of the shows here on the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network, they were all wonderful this week, and they're all going to be wonderful next week. And I'm excited for each and every one of them. I really hope the Devils get a win here. This is an important game, and that at least stay in the standings.
I know.
And, have fun with it, Shorts Guy. I had a great time doing the show with you, and as always, let's go Devils.